happy windy, because yes, it is windy outside, Wednesday. I am Mistress Alluring, aka the Central Seductress, and I want to go back to the basics. Do you know that 90% of the hurt and maybe harm that is caused in BDSM and kink could probably be avoided if we go back to the basics? Now, I'm not talking about during a scene or even things that can go wrong in a dynamic. I'm talking about before you even get to those stages. I think if we just go back to the basics, and I get it, a lot of people don't want to revisit the basics because I've been in it so long. I know this, I know that, I know this, I know that. Yeah, well, sometimes we get comfortable in our time and we get comfortable in our knowledge, and crap happens and accidents happen and mistakes happen. However, I think if we all would every once in a while go back to the basic foundation and your basic principles and your basic ethical practices that you have for yourself before you get to the dynamic, before you even make it to the scene, I think we can avoid a lot of stuff. One thing that I am noticing is vetting is not two-sided. Vetting is being done one-sided. And mostly it's the D type that is always asking the questions. Why are the S types not asking questions? I don't know. But you have a voice, use it. We have people conforming to what they think someone wants. I get it. You've not been in a dynamic. You're excited to get in one, or you haven't been in a dynamic for a while and you're ready to jump back in. But don't stop being who you are at your core. Don't stop being your authentic self just to have a dynamic or a play partner. Don't compromise your ethics. Don't compromise your integrity just to have a dynamic or a play partner. Don't do that. If you know that certain things are not in you or of you and they don't feed you, don't do them. A lot of times you have people oversharing. I always tell people, if you don't want to live and you're not comfortable living loud and proud and out loud, especially with social media, create an alternate page, create an alternate email, get a Google number, a text me now or talk now, all these different things that we have to kind of keep ourselves safe. Because remember, you are your first line of defense. You are your first line of protection. Even in a dynamic, it is still up to you to protect yourself. Your D type or your master or your mistress or whatever can only do so much, because when you are out of sight, you still have to protect you. And I think we forget to do those things. If someone is asking you for your panel, your health panel, but they're not giving theirs, red flag. It's a two-way street. It's not a you give everything and they give nothing. You do everything and they give nothing. Folks wanting to task you just off of saying, hey, y'all not asking for references. And I get it. Everybody doesn't have references. But look, here's a little thing. Here's a little thing. I get it. People value their privacy. But cousins, come a little closer. Come a little closer. There's a difference between private and secret. There's a difference between being discreet and secret. When you are vetting, each person should have at least one person that can vouch for them. Even if they can't vouch for them in their talents, in their skills, they can vouch for them as a person. And it is okay to ask, you have any references? It's okay. I think if we understand consent can be given and taken away at any minute. And I'm not a fan of enthusiastic consent. Because see, enthusiastic consent to me, you just saying yes because you just ready. I want authentic consent. I want the consent from your core. Either it's an absolutely yes or it's an absolutely no. Or as a friend of mine says, either it's a hell yeah or a hell no. There is no in between. Stop calling people ma'am, sir, master, mistress after just saying hello. Stop giving people your phone number, your address, where you work, your church. Stop showing people pictures of your family and you just met them. Yes, my name is Mistress Alluring, but guess what? If you're not in service to me, call me Alluring. You've not earned the right to call me Mistress Alluring. And I have not earned the right to give you permission to call me Mistress Alluring. See how that goes? Yes, I identify as such, but it is not a requirement that when you meet me, you automatically mistress. No. It is a privilege to call me Mistress Alluring. You ain't earned that. And on the other hand, guess what? I've not earned the right to tell you to call me Mistress Alluring. So just call me Alluring. I think if we go back to the basics of things, go back to your ethical practices, go back to your integrity, go back to the things that make you you, go back to the things, go back to your limits, your hard limits, your soft limits. Go back to the things that, okay, this type of service really feeds me. This type of service I'm not interested in. Okay, I got a few submissive qualities, but I'm not a little. That's okay. Well, I'm a brat, but I'm not a submissive, I'm not a little, I'm not anything. Okay. Well, I really don't want a dynamic, but I enjoy some of the things. Okay, so you're a kinkster. Guess what? That's fine. Stop signing up for stuff that does not align with you. Stop letting people question you to death and pressure you to death because you really, really want this thing, and then you end up in some messed up stuff with some messed up people. And that goes for either side of the slash. Because we always want to lay blame on the dominant person, the master, the mistress. Sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes it's not the submissive fault. It's not the slave fault. Sometimes we are just human and we just ready to go and ready to get in there. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm still learning on this journey, as everyone else is. Because guess what? Stuff changes every day. So we all got to keep learning and keep learning. So yes, go back to the basics, y'all. And I promise you, it'll be a little bit smoother for you in the long run. I am Mistress Alluring. Until next time, I will drop the link to the podcast that goes along with this reel. All right, y'all, keep it safe, keep it sane, keep it sexy, keep it as sober as possible, but most of all, keep it consensual.